So we're going to be going over multi-step linear inequalities. I'm just going to go over a few problems with you, so make sure you're just writing down the steps. We have 50q plus 43 is greater than negative 11q plus 70. Now here's our inequality sign. All right, got to make sure whenever you move numbers across the inequality sign, you're treating it just like you would treat an equal sign. Now I got to figure out where do I want my q's. I got 50q over here, I got negative 11q, so I'm going to move everything over to the left. So how do you get rid of a negative 11q? You simply add 11q to both sides. When you add these together, you got 50 plus 11, which is 61q. When I've made a determination of keeping all of my variables on the left side of the inequality sign, then I need to move all of my numbers to the right side. So how do I get rid of 43? Got to find its additive inverse, which is negative 43. Whatever I do to one side, you have to do to the other side. All right? So 70 minus 43, if you want to borrow, right there you go. You can borrow it. You got 27. If you have a calculator handy, you can just do 70 minus 43, and voila, there's a 27. All right? So you can go back over there. So what do we have left? It looks like we have what? 61q is greater than a 27. So to solve for q, all we got to do is just get q by itself. So that's being multiplied by 61, so we're going to divide both sides by 61. So these cancel to a 1, and q is greater than 27 over 61. You're like, well, what is 27 divided by 61? It's a decimal, right? But if you wanted to reduce the fraction, wow, this fraction cannot be reduced. There's no number that's common that goes into a 27 and a 61, so I just leave it as it is right there. Q is greater than 27 over 61. So what am I going to type in here? Like, what do I type in? Well, you type in Q. Then you make the greater than sign. Then you make the fraction. Type in 27 over 61. There you go. Let's do another one. All right, so I'll go ahead and do this one here. I've got negative 4z plus 31 is greater than or equal to 17z plus 23. Now, normally what I would do, I would add 4z to both sides to keep everything positive, but what if you're a student that, you know what, I'm just going to take away 17z on both sides. You can still do that, and that zeroes out. We're left with negative 21z's. So if you like things negative, that's fine. You can bring all the variables over and keep them negative. But just know, if you have all the variables on one side, you got to move the numbers across. Wow, we got a whole bunch of negatives now. All right. So what's 23 minus 31? That's negative 8. So we just bring down our inequality. All right, so here's what we got. We've got, ready? Negative 21z is greater than or equal to a negative 8. All right, and you're like, wow, how do you get negative 8? It's just 23 minus 31. There you go, that's how I got the negative 8. And then to solve for this z, we are going to have to divide both sides by the negative 21. Now a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and we're left with z. But whenever you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, you have to flip the sign in order to make the statement true. Now, there's no numbers that go into an 8 and a 21, so this is going to be my final answer. So if you're not sure why I flipped the sign, all right, now apparently I didn't flip the sign. I need to flip the sign because I didn't do it, so I got to flip it. My apologies. We got to flip the sign. It was greater than or equal to, now it becomes less than or equal to. My apologies. So why do we flip the sign? Well, hopefully you agree that 5 is greater than negative 1. But if I multiply this side and this side by a negative, is negative 5 still greater than a positive 1? No, that's not true. So what do I have to do? I got to flip the sign, okay, in order to make it true. So that's why when I divided both sides by a negative, I had to flip the sign. So I'm going to type in z is less than or equal to 8 21st, or 8 over 21. Z is less than or equal to, make the fraction, type in 8 over 21. There you go. That's all you're doing on this, okay? So in review, all we got to do, all right, is get all the variables to one side, all the numbers to the other, then divide by the number that's in front of the variable, okay? If the number in front of the variable is a negative and you divide by a negative, you got to flip the sign. However, over on this one, you'll notice that when I divided both sides, this was not negative, so the sign was not flipped. It just stayed the same. It just stayed a greater than. And that's it. Hope you have a good day.